Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Crendor, and welcome back to Crendor Talks in front of a shitty green screen. Today, we're talking about Dragonflight, because why wouldn't I be talking about Dragonflight? So, I've been playing a lot of Dragonflight, and I know a few days ago when Dragonflight was going to launch, I made a video saying, you know what? This is going to be fun. You know, usually the first couple weeks of the expansion are really good, and then you know, that's when we truly see how good an expansion is after those first couple weeks. But I will say that so far, the first, you know, how long's it been? Was it Monday? The first 4 days or so have been phenomenal. Like, better than usual. Like, this is the most, I think this is the best expansion I've played probably since Legion. In terms of, like, actually having fun and enjoying everything, you know what I mean? Like, when I played Shadowlands, right? You know, there were still things I didn't like about Shadowlands. Be like, oh, I can't fish here, which, you know, obviously the first #1 reason. You know, all the zones are disconnected. The hub city feels like an airport. You know, you gotta warp all over. You gotta pick your covenant. You don't get to do the other things, you know. But it wasn't like, at the time, you're like, you know what? You know, whatever, that's fine. But, you know, there's little things you can find where you're like, you know, whatever. But, or the story, right? Maybe you're not really vibing with the story or whatever. But so far, I've loved everything. Like, the story, the zones, the music, the dungeons, the talent system. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed everything. The dragon flying. So that's what I really wanted to talk about, is how much I've actually enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. And I'm trying to piece together why that is. So one of the biggest reasons I wanted to bring up first is what's the main thing that you've noticed about the Dragon Isles compared to the Shadowlands or even BFA? And that is the entire continent is connected, which it sounds like, okay, whatever, right? But the fact is, when everything is connected, it just feels, I don't know, it just feels different. You know what I mean? Like, I can get on my dragon, and if I want to say, you know, go to the Azure span from, you know, the plains, right? You just fly on down, and you're like, boom, I'm here. You don't have to get back to the airport and then find the portal and then take that portal and then you're finally there, right? It's just, I'm just gonna fly there, right? And it seems like such a basic thing, but like when you think back to old versions of WoW, like obviously, you know, classic WoW, there's the two major continents, which is, you know, kind of different, but you go to Outland, you know, Outland's connected entirely. You go to Northren's entirely connected. You know, it takes a while to get across the entire zone, but like you can do it. Or the entire continent. And then Cataclysm comes along, and we're like, oh, there's like portals all over? Like, it's still connected, right, by classic WoW standards, but even in Cataclysm, it was like, I gotta like take a portal to go here, and I gotta take a portal. Like, it just, that disconnection does something. It almost, it lowers the exploration factor a bit. I don't know what it is, right? I feel like that's what it is. You know, and as much as we didn't like Draenor, you know, I think Draenor in itself is actually cool, right? It's all connected. I enjoyed the leveling experience and the zones and all that. It was just the garrisons, really, that was my issue. And then Pandaria, you know, Pandaria is another one where I think Pandaria was a pretty good expansion. That's another one that's all connected. So, I think having all the zones connected and then having flying early on has been fantastic as well. Like, I noticed that when I played Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which was, I enjoyed flying around on when I would level my character, as opposed to like having to run all over. And at first, I remember back in the day being like, you know what? Why do we fly around for these quests? I want to explore the zones. I want to be on my ground mount. I want to go through. And then after re-leveling in Wrath and stuff, I was like, nah, just let me fly. And I feel that way now, like with Dragonflight. I'm like, dude, yeah, just let me fly. And I think it's actually kind of cool with the dragon flying because it adds like a restricted flying in a way. where, you know, it's like, oh, I can only fly so much, and then I gotta land, and like I gotta, you know, go up and down, and like you gotta, it's, I don't know, I think it's really cool, and I enjoy the dragon flying actually quite a bit, and I didn't know if I was, because after playing in the alpha, it was a little jankier, and I was like, I don't know, but I think they did a really good job with that. Also, speaking of the airport, the hub city, thank God it isn't terrible, because Oribos may be one of the worst hub cities we've ever had. I would say it's competing with, like, your Draenor garrison. Oh God, what else? The Pandaria ones were kind of okay, like, eh. And then, you know, Shattrath was good, Dalaran was good twice. Obviously, Orgrimmar Stormwind, all that, but, and I would say Dazar Allure and Borealis were actually really good. Those were probably two of the best parts of those expansions, were the hub cities. Like, they were really good. I still have my Hearthstone on my one character, Dazar Allure, or whatever it is. And Oribos, it just felt, like I said, it's like an airport, but it's not even like a good airport. It's like a bad airport. It's like a middle of nowhere airport. And like, you're like, okay, I guess I can mount up in the center, and you're like, oh, I gotta go check my bank, and then you get demounted. And it's like, okay, I guess I don't need my mount for this, and then you gotta mount up. It was dumb. And then you have the Maw, and you had Torg, like, oh God. And there was no auction house, which, you know, they're like, there's no auction house here, because why would there be? Like, okay. So yeah, people would just have to use the Longboy, but you couldn't even get a Longboy anymore. Like, it was just a disaster. And so, thank God they have an auction house again. You can mount up in places and fly around to different buildings. The aesthetic's really cool. Just everything about it is just fantastic compared to what we just had. It's like we just went from dial-up internet to like high-speed fiber. Like, it literally feels like that. It's insane. Even the reps, like the Covenant style Renown stuff, you know, it's not as bad when you don't have to pick one and level that all the way. And I believe it's account bound now, so you know your alts get the stuff as well. So I mean, I just love it. I love how alt friendly it is. I love how much fun I enjoyed the storylines. Like, oh my God, that's the other thing, the storylines. The Bronze Dragonflight storyline alone was better than the entire Shadowlane story. Like, this Bronze Dragonflight quest line had me more engaged, more interested, and I had more fun than the entire Shadowlane story. And I'm not even like joking. It's not even because of some of the memes that are within this Dragonflight or this you know, Bronze Dragonflight quest line, because it was fantastic. It just had a perfect combination of like serious, goofy, you know, just it had everything, and I loved it. It was so good. And then the Tuskar storyline, it had a good combination of like actual sad stuff with like fun stuff with goofy stuff with like it had everything. And I think that's another thing that I really enjoyed, was having all these little like kind of mini quest lines that I cared about. And then I actually like the cinematics. The cinematics were good. It didn't feel like they were out of place. It felt like they would pop up at the right time. They wouldn't last too long. And you'd be like, okay, that was fun. You know, a fun in-game cinematic. And, you know, the first two storylines, I was like, okay, you know, this is all right. But the Tuskar and the Dragonflight, the Bronze Dragonflight, those were like, those were fantastic. Like, I love them. So, and then, you know, I've enjoyed the dungeons. Obviously, the new talent trees have been out a while, and I've been playing around with those. Those have been fun. Obviously, that's like a thing we've wanted since Cataclysm or Pandaria, I think is when they changed it. And, you know, it's been so good having those back and, you know, improved. Like, it's probably the best talent trees we've had ever, to be honest. And just when you take all that, and then professions, oh my God, I didn't even mention professions. I've been doing tailoring and enchanting, and having like all the different specializations you can go into with each profession, like sub-specializations and like talents and points, and having to go explore to get points, so it encourages exploration. Like, dude, it's been great. It's been so good. And just from, you know, from all those different things combined, like, I just get the vibe of like, this has been easily my favorite expansion since Legion. Like, straight up, it's been my favorite since Legion. And who knows, that might change. You know, I'm not going to crown this expansion quite yet, but all I'm saying is, from my first week of playing, and then the fishing! Oh my god, there's like fishing holes, there's so many fishing things, there's Uskar. It's fantastic. So, let me know down in the comments section your opinions so far on the expansion. From what I've seen, most people are really enjoying it. And I can see why, because for all the reasons I just mentioned. You know what I mean? So, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Here's some pointless top 10s if you want. Which, by the way, that we forgot the most important reason. Kren the Pointless, my NPC in Azure Spain. It's pretty cool. Also, thank God I didn't get an NPC in, like, the Maw. I'm so, if I imagine like you get your one NPC, it's in the Maw or something. I wouldn't even go to my own NPC. I'd be like, nah, I'm good. You know, but I get to be in the Azure Span, the Grizzly Hill Zone, which, oh my god, I didn't even mention. There's no videos up yet. I forgot the Azure Span with like the Grizzly Hills vibes. I've noticed this in like, the Azure Span and, what was it? The Halls of whatever, the new Halls dungeon, right? It's like Halls of Stone, Halls whatever, but it's the new Halls one. There's like subtle hints, or like kind of, so like paying tribute, homage, whatever it's called, to like Wrath of the Lich King. Like I heard the music, it was like Storm Peaks music, like in the music. It was like very subtle, and I was like, dude, this is the Wrath of the Lich King music. You know, I heard it. I was like, ugh. And there was something else that did. I think it might have been Grizzly Hills, but, you know, Azure Span kind of referencing Grizzly Hills in a way. But either way, fantastic. I love it. Now you can click the videos up there. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah. Okay. Okay. See ya.